Android phone and the best battery I've ever tested in the key. Monday.
This topic after a teen endures an uncomfortable and Westfield Pangam.
Demonstrators in call for the removal of the city's chairman of public safety. What happened? He'll show up to defend himself.
And it's the nearly $83 billion deal that could change Hollywood forever. Latest on Netflix's pending acquisition of Warner Brothers, now on the news at 7. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Sarah Calvin. A disturbing encounter inside a busy shopping mall. A warning tonight for teens during the busy holiday season.
18-year-old woman, her in an to alarming even following in Canoga Park with details.
Micah, share, yeah, it's pretty terrifying to hear about. That happened last night here at the mall, and that 17 years old, cornered by someone who's met. Parents are speaking out. Parents, what rough. Routine turns into a potentially dangerous owner. A concerned father posting parents on a community Facebook what happened Thursday night in the mall. Heading second floor near Denmark, a woman seen for jumped into the elevator holding the inside it. The woman allegedly asked questions, demanded a pic, and pushed for the girl's Instagram handle, saying she wanted to get her into a New Year's Eve party with older, wealthy teenager. As she refused the woman's request to wait, the woman continued following pressure for Instagram information.
I've always taught my children since they were young, if you are ever in the mall lost or scared, you look for the moms. So for a female to be asking these questions, I think that for the kids, they would know this is a red flag.
As mall security try to figure out exactly what happened, parents are now urging others to remind their teens about personal boundaries and instincts.
As a kid, I grew up in the village. I was a mall rat. Go to the mall, it's the safe place to be. And you assume that there's going to be security there. Don't expect that you have to be scared your child to the mall.
Are you really the security of your surroundings? What did be right? No, she walked away and then went home to tell her parents. So if you're a parent and your kid or going to the mall, especially during the holiday shopping season, it's better to be prepared. Reporting live from Park, Jill Claire, KTLADT News.
Brilliant, thank you. A rally calling for remove Compton's chairman of public safety nearly turns violent after that chairman showed up to defend himself. Latino community members say L.J. Geary has a long history of making inflammatory racial remarks and recently to call the immigration czar to deal with illegal immigrants who live in Compton. Hillary and activist Najee Ali, who organized a press conference with a heat change at the rally this
not afraid of him. Yeah. Where do you live?
I believe in second chances. However, what he's telling us that he's gonna call immigration czar just because we're Latino, that's
Gill says he will not step down or cave in calls for him to leave.
A massive bear is another night barricaded on an altitude. Homeowner Ken Johnson said 500 bear is burrowing in deeper in the crawl space. He hear it raping its claws on wood. When it eventually leaves, Johnson hoping to quickly cover before it returns again.
Famed architect Frank Gehry, who created the Guggenheim Museum in Spain and LA Walt Disney Concert Hall Hyde at this home after a brief respiratory illness. The supervisor Gaddison said he didn't just design buildings, he created lift up artists and brought great people together. Frank Gehry was
Helms Baker City institution that operated between 1931 and 1969 and reopened in November. as closing again on December 14th. Chef Sang Yoon cited the immense challenges for independent restaurants in L.A. Yoon also owns the Gastropub Fox office, which shuttered its Arts District location in September.
Now at 7, the entertainment, a major acquisition shakes up Hollywood. Acquires Discovery's century-old studio.
Came after an intense bidding war among major shows. KTLA's reaction to the mega.
Hi, good evening. Change the entertainment industry. Netflix is the streaming platform in the world to take over TV and film studio.
Two of Hollywood's biggest players in film and TV could be under one roof after a weeks-long bidding war. Competitors like Paramount, Skydance, and Comcast, all vying for more studio and streaming. Netflix won out to the tune of $82 billion. This is give them entire show in which to play. They're also going to be getting HBO and HBO Max, the third streaming service. And many Hollywood unions representing directors, writers, and producers are pushing back on the president of Cinema United. As the impact of this act will impact theaters, big and small. And the Directors Guild outlined to meet with Netflix concerns and better understand the vision for the future of the company. Netflix is to keep theater releases for Warner's studio films.
Anytime in an industry, what that means, that industry has more bargaining power than labor.
And so what does it mean for you, the consumer? Well, nothing right away, but eventually the general rule of thumb is anytime competition is down, prices go up.
Now, this deal still has to be approved by antitrust regulators and abroad stakeholders, and WB has to separate from its Discovery global networks like CNN and TNT. That's the very latest from Hollywood. I'm Rachel Menetoff. I'll send it back to
With more on this $82.7 billion mega deal, we're joined by Deadline Executive Editor Dominic Patton. Good of you to be with us. So this bidding war obviously has been going for weeks. There was always going to be a bid. Are you surprised the winner Netflix and how people could reshape our industry?
I think a lot of people were surprised it was. I think people thought that Netflix was just taking an opportunity to get a look, so to speak, at Warner Brothers. But clearly they got very serious. They got very serious very fast, too. This is something we have not done before. Co-CEO Greg Peters just once said, hey, we're builders, not buyers. That will now go out as one of the great Hollywood rope-a-dopes because clearly they are buyers. And what they are buying essentially is the crown jewels of one of the legacy studios of Hollywood. Not all don't want the cable channels, CNN and stuff that are in decline, but the good stuff, the stuff that they can use for their library. Because let's remember, as popular as Netflix shows like Squid Game and many others are, what really pays the bills on Netflix is their library. When they have recently just regained, for instance, The Swing, which went back to Brothers for many years and now is back on Netflix. That's what the people like to watch. So in many senses, they bought themselves an $82 billion insurance policy.
Right, and that century-old library includes titles like Casablanca or Citizen Potter, even Friends and HBO Max. So when we talk about this, HBO Max is the third list streamer with those assets in hand. What do we see consumers? How do we see this affecting consumers? What is it for them?
Well, that's one thing because you just mentioned the number 3, which is HBO Max, has been purchased by the number 1 streamer, both domestically and globally, which is Netflix. Usually you would look at that and go, as Senator Elizabeth Warren has today, and said, that's an anti-trust monopoly. That is not allowed under the rules. That is more than 51% of the potential audience. But the argument that can be made, which is always made in the monopoly cases, there's a little bit of a loophole. The loophole is called benefit to the consumers. If Netflix, let's call it net bros, that it is giving lower prices, it's making more to consumers, it's bundling, it's allowing special discounts, et cetera, that will allow it some of the regulatory hoops it's going to have to get through. More importantly for consumers, we often assume that when there's more involved, prices go up. But what if you around and prices go down if you actually add HBO Max membership, where a premium, for instance, can be over $2 a year? with premiership and all, and suddenly that's gone down to 300 for the two of them. That is a bet, a good most people another $100 in their pockets. So this could play out. Consumers will get more content in the same place. Long term, it may take a while for HBO to become a part of Netflix. Maybe they'll even rename parts of it. But clearly, in the short term, these are going to be two separate things because it take a years this deal all come together.
So I'm curious, hearing Hollywood, a good amount of pushback, as you're well, but your reporting today suggests that the tone is inside Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix see the rest of respective stats about the future.
Yes, both Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav, who we expect to see some role in the new company, maybe not a CEO role, but maybe on the board or some sort of thing like that. He wrote to the Warner Brothers Discovery employees globally, 5,000. They also town hall later in the day. And basically, look, this is a time of generational change. There is going to be some change, but everybody just keep focused, keep doing the good work you're doing. You've been amazing. And let's be honest, Warner Brothers as a studio, Warner Brothers Picture, had a $4 billion box office this year between Superman, Sinners, Minecraft. They just did incredibly well. At the same time, Netflix CEO Greg Peters, man who said that he's not interested in buying things and building them just a while ago, he basically told his employees, keep focused, keep your head down, keep going forward. This will take some while. As we said at Deadline, we did the British Information motto from 1939, keep calm, and carry on. We'll see if that's what happens. But again, already there's been leadership meetings. There's discussions about compensation for executives.